Isreal. Well, welcome back, everybody. So we have arrived in Jerusalem, and quite the adventure it was to get to this point. So last you saw, we were on our flight leaving Norway. We changed planes in Istanbul, Turkey. So then we land, get through customs, take some money out, and then, long story though, we end up taking a taxi, which wasn't our original plan, but it was getting late. We get in the taxi to find out that he wants to charge us 400 shekels, which was all I had taken out of the ATM machine was 400 shekels.
Which is about $100.
We get dropped off. We start walking around trying to find our apartment, and we get lost.
Well, where we were supposed to go was the Jaffa Gate, and the Jaffa Gate had been blocked off by the police. So he took us to another spot and said, "Here, I'm gonna leave you right here. You just walk up this way and you'll find it."
Which did turn out to be true,
Yeah.
but we didn't know.
Well,
So
yeah. So anyway, we started following a map that April had, and we got lost as can be, and finally just stopped, got our bearings, figured out where we were exactly, and then walked straight to the apartment. So
fortunately, my biggest fear in this whole thing, I knew that bit of the trip was going to be a challenge, is I was afraid that the streets were going to be deserted when we were going to be wandering around getting mugged or who knows what.
yeah, at 1 o'clock in the morning.
But the streets were packed full of people. Like, it was like 3 p.m. There were so many people out walking around. So
Apparently this Shabbat had just ended, and so there were thousands of people walking through the streets. I mean, everywhere.
maybe they do a late night
Yeah.
service of some kind. I don't know. But anyway,
Maybe they serve cake afterward or something.
the street that we're on, it said turn down, and we get to this point and we turn and we look down, and it's like a kind of a covered alleyway, but in the pitch dark it looks like a tunnel, and it was pitch black. I'm like, we have to walk down there. I'm like, all right, let's turn on the flashlights. I mean, it was just the whole thing was totally nuts. And then we had a code to get in here, and anyway, we made it.
Up the stairs with 2 heavy suitcases and 2 heavy backpacks.
And by then, so it was about 2 a.m. by the time we got here. So now it's very late. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're just getting out the door. So our plan today,
We're gonna get something to eat, hopefully, and then we're gonna walk over to the Mount of Olives and see the spot that I use in my talk about where Jesus looked at the city of Jerusalem and cried. So I'm hoping that I get some pictures from there.
maybe take in the Temple Mount, Western Wall, something like that. And then tonight we have tickets to get into the Tower of David and see the light show that they do about David's life. So that should be interesting. So we're gonna head out and try to find another ATM because we have no money now. This is at the top of the Mount of Olives with your back to Jerusalem, and you're looking down over the Judean desert with the Dead Sea just beyond. This is Orson Hyde Park, and this is one of the routes down from the top of the Mount of Olives going towards Jerusalem. It's still one of the original pathways that would have been used in Jesus' time, although it was not paved with these stones as it is now today. Supposed to be the Garden of Gethsemane, so it's kind of belated. And they say this is the tree where Judas kissed Jesus. But again, who knows? This is our lunch. Look at this spread. We have no idea what half of this stuff is, but look at this hummus. This is the hummus. Oh my goodness gracious, look at that.
That's the hummus. Where's the hummus?
That's the hummus right there. Here at the Tower of David to see the night show. They do a nighttime projection here at the Tower of David. It's supposed to be kind of cool. So today we're on a day tour that goes to Masada and the Dead Sea. So we're at the meeting point. This is our first early morning, I think, of the whole trip.
I know.
I had to get up at like 6:30.
Yesterday we sat down when we were taking our 400-mile trek, and I think we wandered longer than the Israelites in the wilderness, but I sat down on the step and I couldn't sit down because I had my glasses in my pocket, and I set them on the step and they disappeared, so I had to buy new sunglasses.
And you know what, I think we left off last night with going into the Tower of David show.
Okay. Yeah,
so we didn't really
yeah.
talk about that at all.
It was a decent show. I mean, it was okay.
It was the story of David's life.
Yeah, on the walls of the Tower of David area, which was Herod's palace, yes, where Jesus was actually tried, right there on that spot. They know right within those grounds of that palace is where Jesus was tried and flogged and beat and sentenced to death.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So
Crazy.
all right, we're heading out.
Picture. The camel is not, it's a fake camel. Take a picture. Take a picture. Don't tell me look at that. Picture. Okay? Very good. Okay? Look at that.
They had changing rooms and lockers, and as soon as we were changed, we could head down to the water. Here on the shore, you can see big chunks of salt just wash ashore with the rocks. It's crazy.
So we're here at the Dead Sea, and apparently you go in and you red mud all over you, and then you look 25 years younger. So I'm going to pray that that's the case. I'll only look 80. So I think I'm covered fairly well. It feels odd because it's stinky.
Stinky?
It is kind of stinky. Yeah. But,
I don't smell anything.
But it's kind of cool. Did you film all of that out there?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
And the floating part, how weird was that?
yeah, so it's weird because you can't, you can't go into the water. You float, like you're down a little bit and you want to go get some mud. You try and reach underneath there and you can't. The water pushes you back up, so you can't even get underneath the water to get the mud. You got to come way over to the shore, and then when you get to the shore, then you can grab some mud and spread it all over your body. There's a hole right here.
A hole?
Yeah, and a big rock right here.
Our tour was supposed to take us to Masada, but because of recent rain, the roads were washed out and we weren't able to go. Instead, they brought us here to Qumran, which is where in 1947 they discovered the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are said to be the oldest known existing copy of the Old Testament. And you can see also additional ruins here from some of the people that lived here over the centuries. This is one of the baptismal spots at the Jordan River, and the other side of the river from where we're standing is the country of Jordan. How do you like that? White doves at the Jordan River.
Where Jehovah's Spirit came down as a form of a white dove and said, "This is my son, but he loves him on the Interesting.
So today we were picked up by our friends David and Desiree from Drink Offering Tours. We'll link their website below. They do great videos all around Israel. But they took us to some of the locations outside of Jerusalem. And we started with this one in Beth Shemesh, which is mentioned in 1 Samuel chapter 6, where some of the inhabitants were struck down for looking at the Ark of the Covenant. And then just across the valley is the hill where Samson lived. And the valley would have been the location where in Judges chapter 15, he tied the foxes' tails together with the torches and lit the fields on fire.
Here we are. That over on that side where the whiter stuff is in the background. That's more where Gath was, the Philistine city. And then there's another valley over here where you can see down in through there, and that's where Ashdod was, another Philistine city. So when they attacked Jerusalem, the time of King David. Well, he was just a boy at the time. They came this way and right into this area right here. This is the valley where it says that the Philistines were on one hill, the Israelites were on another hill. We're standing on the hill, most likely, that the Israelites would have been on. And way over there in the distance above the trees there, that's Hebron, where David would have come from. So he would have come along all these little mountains on the side here. And when he come to this point right here, he would have found out that Goliath was there taunting the Israelites. And you probably can't hear it on the video, but on that road right over there, every time a car goes by, you can hear the car go by, which means they would have been able to hear Goliath taunting them from here. Just down below here, where it's hard to see, well, on this side of the fields, you see a row of trees. There is a little river that runs through there, and that's where David would have gone down and grabbed his stones and would have then been able to go out probably somewhere right here in this area is where David and Goliath had their battle, and David slew Goliath. And then when that happened, the Israelites pursued the Philistines back this way, back to their area, and the Bible tells us that in this area here, they were slaying all the Philistines along the way.
This is the remains of the city of Lachish. In 732 BCE, Assyrian king Sennacherib built a siege ramp to overtake the city. You can still see the remains of the ramp today. So today we did an all-day tour that took us to Nazareth, through Cana. We went by the Beatitudes Hill, which is where the Sermon on the Mount took place. We saw the Sea of Galilee and the city of Capernaum. So these are supposed to be the ruins of the house of Peter. They built this church that looks kind of like a UFO over the top of it with a glass floor so that you can look down over the top of it. So this is the remains of a synagogue from the 4th century. But they say that it's built on the site of a synagogue from the 1st century by the darker stone here on the bottom, which would mean this could have been the synagogue, or most likely is the synagogue where Jesus would have worshipped here in Capernaum.
Here in Capernaum. And they've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was a synagogue. And he went and showed us all the evidence. And then, of course, the 2 different color rocks show that it was 2 different time periods.
This is the second of the baptismal sites at the Jordan River, and as you can see, many choose to be baptized when they visit. This is our Airbnb we're staying in the old city of Jerusalem near the Jaffa Gate. And you're getting the used, dirty version of this video because when I filmed it the first time, it didn't come out very well. So I apologize. Here's our little kitchen area. Delicious coffee. Bathroom. I don't know if you can see how this place looks like. Kind of like a cave. Pretty neat. TV and shelves. Little closet area, little fridge, fan, window, and the bed. There's Annie. Yeah, so it was nice. It's very centrally located to everything. We really liked it here. Well, that ends our time in Jerusalem. And we're heading out. We're getting ready to go on a cruise. So the cruise is going to be going to Turkey and Greece. So we're very excited about that. We had a great time here in Jerusalem.
Time to go.
Heading out. See you in the next one, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.